From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Friday, July 26th. It is a fantastic feeling Friday outside. Mostly sunny skies already. The muggy weather, not bad. Low humidity, it feels amazing today and tomorrow. Could have some changes, though, heading into next week. We're following breaking news. New information on a crash involving a Lawrence police car and two other vehicles. Police now say a chase and a stolen car led to the wreck. News 8's Colin Bailey is at the scene on the northeast side.
We're at the intersection of 62nd and Binford on the city's northeast side. You can see behind me where that crash ended. You can see that oil absorbent material on the ground, and also in those trees where one of those vehicles involved in the crash went in. But let's get to the details on this. This scene was cleared up about 5:30 in the morning. They put that oil absorbing substance down on the roadway on 62nd Street. The crash, though, took place in the 3 o'clock hour. It involved 3 cars, including a Lawrence police car. It started as a report of a stolen vehicle that ended in a crash here, like I mentioned, at 62nd and Binford on the northeast side. That Lawrence police car had heavy front end damage to it. The other car that was flipped off the road, that car was reported stolen according to the Lawrence Police Department. It also had heavy damage. There was a third vehicle involved in the crash that had significant damage as well. All those cars have been towed away from the scene. Now, 2 suspects were in the vehicle that ended up flipped over in the trees. They fled on foot and have not been caught yet. Officers are still looking for them. As far as injuries go, a Lawrence officer was transported to a local hospital with minor injuries, and a second person in that third vehicle involved in the crash was taken to a local hospital to be checked out. And you can see that this scene is not active anymore, but you can see that oil absorbent material down and where that car went into the trees over there. But we will work to bring you more information throughout the rest of the day. But for now, in the northeast side of Indianapolis, I'm Colin Bailey for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
Breaking news in the race for the White House. Former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama have formally endorsed Kamala Harris for president. The two posted a video on X this morning showing the Obamas calling Harris to offer her their support. Political analysts have widely seen backing from the Obamas as critical for Harris to quickly sew up party support for her run for the presidency. So far, there are no major Democratic political figures pushing for anyone else. Also breaking this morning, just hours before the opening ceremony for the Olympics in Paris, high-speed trains around France have been hit by what the country is now calling criminal acts, paralyzing travel to Paris. France's national rail company says a series of attacks, including arson, impacted trains from nearby countries, with people fleeing from fires reported near the tracks. As of now, there are no reports of injuries. The French Prime Minister wrote on X that France's intelligence services have been mobilized, and he calls this acts of sabotage that were prepared and coordinated. Investigators are looking into if the attacks are linked to the Olympics. Today's opening ceremony will be held in the heart of Paris. It's set to start at 1:30 this afternoon, our time. In Indianapolis, one of 35 people who lost their home in a massive apartment fire on Wednesday is sharing her experience. 73-year-old Francine Lee says the day of the fire was her 31st wedding anniversary. She lost priceless items, including wedding photos. Lee says her husband and their puppy were home but did not have time to grab anything. Lee was at church when firefighters say lightning likely struck the building and sparked the fire. She says this isn't her first disaster, but it's her first time in this position.
And I Red Cross volunteer previously. I knew that team. We gathered everybody, took them to contacted the manager. The manager and all the maintenance staff was right on point. They were right here. We put everybody in there. We signed everybody up to make sure we had everybody accounted for.
Everyone who lives at the apartment got out and none were hurt. Crews say one firefighter did have a slight injury. New this morning, state police now say a semi-driver was likely going too fast and driving over his allowed hours ahead of the crash that killed a 9-year-old boy last night. The wreck also hurt a 5-year-old and the driver of the car that the children were in. It happened early in the evening rush yesterday on 465 on the south side of Indianapolis. State police say a semi failed to slow down for stopped traffic and hit 3 cars and another semi. No word yet on whether the semi-driver will face any charges. Leaders at Indiana University promised to take lessons from a new report on spring protests at the school. It finds IU did not prevent free speech, but did fail to communicate rule changes clearly. The demonstrations in Bloomington were part of a wave of campus protests over the Israel-Hamas war. News 8's government reporter Garrett Bergquist takes us through the key points in the new independent review.
The report finds IU officials did not violate the First Amendment or any applicable laws or policies when they ordered the removal of a protest encampment. But investigators say officials need a new campus expression policy with clear and enforceable regulations to prevent scenes like this. This is what prompted the review of IU's protest response. In late April, protesters gathered on Dunn Meadow, IU's designated free speech zone, to protest the war in Gaza. IU police officers and state troopers twice cleared a protest encampment there. They arrested a total of 57 people. 45 of them were affiliated with IU. Investigators cleared the university of any wrongdoing, but say there are things officials could have done better. Chief among them, officials' late-night decision to only allow 2 tents and require them to be taken down by 11 p.m. Investigators wrote, although the university acted within its authority, IU leadership's decision to change the policy overnight caused negative unintended consequences. In part, the timing of the decision-making limited IU's ability to seek input from relevant stakeholders and eliminated the chance for a thorough review of the policies for gaps or conflict with other policies or laws in effect. The report did not review how law enforcement handled the protests. An organizer says that ignores the biggest issue that came out of this spring.
A truly independent review would put more focus on the way the university utilized, again, military levels of force, choppers, assault weapons, grenade launchers, drones in the air, and snipers on the roof. They would assess whether or not that's a reasonable response to peaceful protesters. And I think any reasonable person would agree that that doesn't make any sense at all.
Going forward, investigators say IU officials should adopt a new free expression policy and clearly communicate any changes. They also recommend better training for those who enforce the policies. And they should clearly spell out who should remove protest encampments, when, and how. Green says what the university really needs is stronger protections for protesters.
A free speech policy should do everything it can to limit restrictions, unnecessary restrictions, on students exercising their First Amendment rights. And it should certainly discourage or even prohibit the use of this military levels of force against peaceful protesters.
IU President Pamela Whitten says, we sincerely appreciate the depth and detail of Cooley's independent review and will leverage their insights to move forward with purpose, guided by our core values and tirelessly pursuing our top priority, a safe campus with freedom of speech for all. The only law enforcement-related recommendation in the report is for IUPD to receive more funding and more officers so it can better handle protests and other large-scale events. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for update.
Colts training camp starts with a very promising headline. Quarterback Anthony Richardson threw passes in public for the first time since his season-ending shoulder injury last year. Angela Morian shows us how his first day at camp went.
Anthony Richardson is back. After shoulder surgery ended his rookie season early, Richardson was extra thankful to return to Grand Park for his second Colts training camp.
Man, all glory be to God, man. You know, just having the opportunity to come out here again, you know, it's a blessing. You know, like you said, I've been through a lot, but you know, I never backed down from it. You know, I just kept running, kept my feet going. I trusted everybody around me, trusted my teammates, trusted my coaches, you know, trusted the training staff, and just kept it pushing. And now, you know, we out here day one of training camp, and you know, it's a blessing.
And the work ethic he put into it, the whole off season, going through his rehab, you know, his treatment, being around his teammates, putting in the work in the summer. He had a hell of a summer. Obviously, you know, those guys got together and threw. He looked sharp. You know, we'll go back and look at the tape, but he looked really good today.
Richardson's arm is fully healthy, but you can't forget about his legs. There have been a lot of questions on whether the Colts will limit Richardson's run game after so many injuries last season. After talking with head coach Shane Steichen, I wouldn't count on it.
Shoot, are you going to limit Steph Curry from, shooting three-pointers? Well, that's one of Anthony's strengths, right? So we're not going to, get away from that. That's what he does well.
My legs always been one of my superpowers, so trying to take that away from me, I don't think that's a good thing for this offense. It's just more so me, playing a little bit more smarter and learning how to take care of myself and my teammates, and knowing when to make the right play and knowing when to try to get an extra few yards.
I just think he'll make some plays that people haven't seen before. He did some last year that were incredible, and just to build on that, 22-year-old, going into a second year, the athletic ability that he brings, again, just so excited about it.
Excited about having him back in the backfield with running back Jonathan Taylor, too. Angela Morian, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook for updates.
Wish TV is your education station. IndyGo is working to get more students access to public transportation and school. The second annual back-to-school night was at the Transit Center downtown yesterday. IndyGo says it gave out personalized key cards to students. Kids enrolled in schools partnered with IndyGo get to ride the bus for free. Students who are not enrolled at those specific schools instead got half-rate key cards. Organizers say that this is a chance for kids to learn how to use public transportation and get to school safely.
With IndyGo, we're all about connecting people to life's opportunities. So being able to see the families come in, easily be able to pick up their cards and get their students set to be able to have a safe and reliable ride to and from school every day is tremendously rewarding.
Free backpacks from New Direction Church were also given out to students at the event. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.